When you start to feel like the weight of the world is pressing against you, that's not always a sign of failure. Sometimes it's the announcement that something larger is on the way. You can't expect to walk into big blessings with small resistance. The storm shows up because the promise is near, and the greater the blessing, the heavier the pressure that precedes it. Think about it. Gold doesn't shine until it's refined in fire, and diamonds don't form without extreme pressure. The challenge you're facing right now is not the end, it's the process. That pressure is shaping you into who you need to be so you can hold the weight of what's coming. The attacks on your life aren't random, they're strategic. You've been targeted not because you're weak, but because you're loaded with potential. Opposition doesn't show up where nothing valuable is present. It shows up where something precious is about to be revealed. So don't misinterpret the battle as punishment. See it for what it really is, proof that you are close to something extraordinary. Your struggle is not empty. It is evidence that something worth fighting for is near. The blessing on the other side is too big to come cheap. Every battle is sharpening you. Every sleepless night is teaching you resilience. Every setback is teaching you persistence. Without the fight, you wouldn't have the strength to manage what's coming. The battle is building you. And here's the truth. Most people fold under pressure because they think it means they're losing. But pressure is part of the elevation. The storm is not there to drown you. It's there to prove you can stand on water. If you can survive this battle, you're ready for the blessing. That's why big blessings don't come wrapped in ease. They come dressed in difficulty. The fight is confirmation that you're stepping into a season that requires the best version of you. Because anything big is on the horizon. Waiting can feel like punishment, but waiting is part of the promise. The silence you feel doesn't mean God forgot you. It means He's arranging the details in places you can't see. What looks like a delay in your timeline is right on schedule in His plan. When you ask for something big, you've got to give time for the setup. You don't build skyscrapers overnight. The foundation takes longer because it has to support the height. God is not stalling. He's securing the ground beneath your feet so the blessing doesn't crush you when it arrives. Sometimes the hardest thing in the waiting season is watching others get what you prayed for. You see their doors open, their breakthroughs arrive, and you wonder why yours hasn't shown up. But what you don't realize is that what's coming for you is tailored specifically for your journey. That's why it takes longer, because it's bigger. Delays test your patience. They stretch your faith. They strip away your need for control. Because when the blessing finally comes, you'll know it wasn't your timing, your strategy, or your hustle that made it happen. It was divine timing. Think of a seed buried in the soil. Nothing looks like it's happening on the surface, but roots are growing deep underground. The delay is the root season, and when the roots are ready, the plant breaks through. The same is true for you. Don't mistake the silence for absence. Just because God hasn't said yes yet doesn't mean He said no. It just means He's preparing the perfect moment for the unveiling. Trust that the waiting is working in your favor. So, if the door hasn't opened yet, it's not because it's locked forever. It's because the right key is still being crafted. The delay is not the denial. It's the setup for something bigger than you thought. Too many people pray for the spotlight but skip the rehearsal. You can't expect to carry a big blessing without preparation. If you want a platform, you got to survive the practice. If you want abundance, you got to manage little without wasting it. Preparation doesn't always look glamorous. It looks like showing up when no one claps. It looks like working late when nobody's watching. It looks like doing the hard things in private so you're ready for the opportunities in public. That's how God tests your capacity. The truth is, promotion without preparation is dangerous. If God gave you everything you wanted too early, it would crush you. He prepares you through challenges, setbacks, and responsibilities so you can handle the weight of success. That's why seasons of preparation feel lonely. That's why they feel heavy, because you're carrying lessons you'll need when the blessing shows up. The pain you feel now is equipping you for the pressure of later. Look back at your journey. Everything you went through has been building you. The heartbreaks, the failures, the disappointments, those weren't wasted. They were shaping you, refining you, and teaching you lessons no book could ever give. Preparation is discipline. Nay. Preparation is character development. Preparation is learning how to hold on when it would be easier to quit. Without it, blessings slip through your hands. With it, you can multiply what you've been given. So if you're in the grind season, don't despise it. Every unseen hour is stacking up. Every hidden effort is counting. Because when the promotion comes, you won't just arrive, you'll last. If your challenges seem overwhelming, don't think it means you're out of place. It actually means you're exactly where you need to be. The size of your challenge is in proportion to the size of your calling. Nobody called to small things has to fight giants. Giants show up because you're meant to take territory bigger than what you've seen before. It's easy to think, why me? Why is it always this hard? But the truth is, the struggle chose you because the assignment on your life is weighty. Big obstacles are tied to big opportunities, and every great destiny has a fight attached to it. The challenge is not meant to stop you, it's meant to reveal what you're capable of. Some people pray for elevation, but they don't realize that elevation requires stronger muscles. God lets you face opposition because He knows it's going to unlock another level of grit, courage, and wisdom inside of you. That battle you're in right now, it's not punishment, it's preparation for something larger than you imagined. Think about how David faced Goliath. It wasn't because he was unlucky. It was because his calling required him to stand before a giant. The giant wasn't in the way of his destiny. It was the gateway to his destiny. Your challenge isn't blocking you. It's pointing you toward where you're meant to go. So don't shrink when life gets heavy. Don't back down when it feels like too much. The weight you're carrying is a signal that you're built for more. The challenge is proof of your capacity. The moment you start to see your challenges as indicators of your calling, your perspective changes. Instead of saying, this is too hard, you'll start saying, this must be big because the fight is big. Thus, that shift in mindset gives you power over the problem. And if the storm around you feels unbearable, it's only because the blessing in front of you is unimaginable. The fight is proportional to the future, and your calling is written in the size of your challenge. When God begins to prepare you for something big, people around you won't always get it. They'll question your choices, your sacrifices, and your direction. They'll look at your process and wonder why you're taking the long road when shortcuts are available. But the vision God gave you wasn't sent to them, it was sent to you. It's hard when people you love don't understand what you're doing. It can feel lonely. But purpose often isolates before it elevates. You can't expect everyone to see what you see when God gave the blueprint to you and not them. People might call you crazy, too ambitious, unrealistic. They'll laugh at your discipline, your faith, your commitment. But when the blessing comes, the same people who doubted will be the ones asking how you did it. Don't waste energy trying to prove your process. Live it until the results speak for themselves. The truth is, not everyone is meant to walk with you to the next level. Some can't handle the changes God is making in you. They liked you better when you were average because it didn't challenge them. But when you start moving toward greatness, it exposes their comfort zone. That's why resistance often comes from the people closest to you. You have to make peace with being misunderstood. Your obedience to God's direction is more important than their approval. Stop waiting for applause from people who weren't even assigned to your journey. Validation doesn't come from the crowd, it comes from God. And here's the reality. When the blessing finally arrives, they'll see what you saw all along. The same ones who called you foolish will recognize your faith. But by then, you won't even need their affirmation because you'll be walking in the fullness of what God promised. So don't let misunderstanding distract you. Stay committed to the process even when nobody else gets it. The vision is still valid even if they don't understand it yet. Not every opportunity that looks good is meant for you. Sometimes God closes doors, and at first it feels like rejection. But with time, you'll realize that closed doors were protection. What you thought was a missed chance was actually God keeping you from something that could have broken you. We often get angry when doors shut in our face. We ask, why not me? Why not now? But the truth is, if you saw what was behind some of those doors, you'd thank God for slamming them shut. Closed doors are God's way of redirecting you toward what's best for you instead of what you thought was best. Closed doors test your trust. They force you to believe that God knows something you don't, and He does. He sees what's ahead. He knows who will betray you, who will misuse you, what opportunities will waste your time. That's why He doesn't always let you in where you want to go. Sometimes the blessing is not in the open door, but in the one that didn't open. Because when one door closes, it shifts your direction. It points you toward the path that was designed specifically for you. If every door opened, you'd end up lost. The right ones open because they align with destiny. The challenge closed doors hurt in the moment. They sting. But if you can look back at some doors that didn't open in your past, you'll realize those denials were really divine redirections. They saved you from pain, wasted years, and missed opportunities. So instead of pounding on a door that won't open, learn to say thank you for closing it. Thank God for every door that refused you, because it made room for the one that was meant for you. You didn't miss out. You were moved into position. Closed doors aren't curses, they're blessings in disguise. They don't mean the journey is over. They mean the path is being refined for where you're supposed to go. Breakthrough rarely comes in comfort. When God is about to do something big, He stretches you past what feels easy. He pushes you into situations that feel foreign, awkward, even scary. That discomfort is not a mistake. It's the evidence that you're growing. Growth doesn't happen in safety. It happens in discomfort. Muscles don't grow without resistance, and faith doesn't grow without pressure. That uneasiness you're feeling right now is the signal that something new is being birthed. The problem is, most people retreat when they feel uncomfortable. They think the discomfort means something is wrong, but in reality it means something is right. The process of becoming who you're called to be will never feel cozy. It will always feel like being stretched. Think about a butterfly inside a cocoon. The struggle looks uncomfortable, even painful, but that tension is what strengthens its wings. Without the discomfort, the butterfly could never fly. Your discomfort is strengthening you for your flight. So don't try to escape the season that makes you uneasy. Don't rush back to safety when you're meant to stretch into growth. Discomfort is the classroom where destiny is taught. Every moment that challenges you is preparing you for the promise. The truth is, if you're still comfortable, you're not done growing. The next level demands you to step into new waters, new arenas, new risks, and while it won't feel easy, it will prepare you for what's next. So if you're uncomfortable, don't panic. That's the sign that your breakthrough is near. Growth always feels like pressure before it feels like progress. Faith sounds powerful until it's put to the test. It's easy to say, I believe, when everything is smooth, the bills are paid, the health is good, and the doors are opening. But true faith isn't proven in comfort. It's proven in crisis. When you don't see a way forward, when nothing looks possible, that's when faith becomes real. Tests aren't meant to break you. They're meant to reveal you. If you say you trust, the test comes to see if you mean it. When the ground under you shakes, will you hold steady or collapse? That's where faith steps in, not to eliminate the storm, but to anchor you in it. The test of faith often feels like silence. You pray, and it seems like no answer comes. You push, and nothing moves. But faith doesn't need visible evidence. Faith says, I may not see it, but I know it's there. Faith is the bridge between what is and what will be. Every great promise comes with a test. Abraham was tested. Joseph was tested, David was tested, and each of them discovered that faith had to grow stronger under fire before the blessing arrived. The bigger the blessing, the harder the test, because faith is what qualifies you for what's next. When life strips away your options, that's where faith is built. When your only choice is to trust, that's where you learn how powerful faith really is. It becomes more than words. It becomes your lifeline. So don't fear the test. It's not designed to destroy you. It's designed to strengthen the muscles of belief inside you. What looks like a trial is actually the training ground for your faith. If your faith is being tested right now, it's only because the blessing waiting on the other side requires a stronger version of you to receive it. Opposition is always loudest before your breakthrough. When you're about to step into something new, resistance rises up to block you. The enemy doesn't fight empty vessels. He fights those carrying something valuable. If you're feeling the pushback, it's because you're pregnant with potential. It often feels unfair. You say, "Why is everything going wrong at the same time?" But the reality is, the pressure increases because opportunity is near. Think of it like labor pains. They intensify the closer you get to delivery. What you're facing isn't random chaos. It's the announcement of opportunity. The greatest resistance you'll ever face usually comes just before the greatest doors of your life swing open. That's why you can't quit at the point of pressure. Too many people give up at the edge of breakthrough because the opposition convinces them it's over. Opposition also reveals your strength. If you can push through the block, it shows you what you're capable of. If the door doesn't open easily, maybe it's not meant to. Maybe it's meant for you to kick it down. Resistance is where resilience is born. Think of every battle in your life. Didn't you notice that after the fight, something greater always followed? That's the pattern. Pain, then promotion. Resistance, then reward. The battle is a sign, not a curse. So instead of fearing opposition, learn to read it. When it gets harder, remind yourself, this is a sign I'm closer than I've ever been. Opposition is the signal that opportunity is right around the corner. If everything around you feels like it's closing in, don't back down. That pressure means you're standing right at the edge of your next big move. Before God adds to your life, He often subtracts. That subtraction hurts, but it's not punishment, it's preparation. Some people, some habits, some environments can't go with you where you're headed. So God clears them out so you don't sabotage the blessing with baggage. We call it loss, but God calls it space making. You cry over who left, over what ended, over what you had to let go of. But every removal is creating space for something better. You can't fill a jar with new water if it's already full of the old. Sometimes you hold on too tightly to things because they're familiar, but God knows they'll weigh you down later. That's why He pries them from your grip. The blessing ahead requires lighter luggage, and you won't get there if you're dragging the wrong people or patterns along. Look back over your life. How many times did something leave and later you realized it was for your good? The friendship that broke, the job that ended, the plan that fell apart. In the moment it felt devastating, but later you saw it was necessary. God never removes without replacing. The pruning always comes before the bloom. The cutting feels painful, but it sets you up for fruitfulness. If nothing was removed, you wouldn't have room for the increase. So the next time something walks out of your life, shift your perspective. Instead of saying, why did I lose this? Say, what is God making room for? That simple shift unlocks peace in the middle of loss. Subtraction is part of multiplication. If you can embrace the removal, you'll be ready for the abundance that's coming next. You can't walk into a big blessing with small thinking. Miracles require mental expansion. If your mind is stuck in fear, doubt, or scarcity, you'll fumble the blessing even if it lands in your lap. The mindset you carry will either unlock or block what God is trying to give you. If you pray for more but think less, you'll never handle it. If you ask for increase but keep speaking lack, you'll sabotage it. The miracle is already written, but your mind has to align with it to receive it fully. That's why growth starts internally. Before God gives you external increase, He works on your internal perspective. He stretches your vision, your faith, your expectations. Because if you think too small, you'll shrink the blessing down to your level instead of rising up to its level. Your mindset determines how you see challenge. Yes, with a limited mind, every obstacle looks like an ending. With a renewed mind, every obstacle looks like an opportunity. The miracle doesn't just show up, it flows through your perspective. If you want big, you've got to think big. That doesn't mean arrogance, it means expectation. It means believing you're worthy because God said you are. It means preparing for more even before you see it. That's why gratitude and vision are powerful. They train your mind to see possibility where others only see limits. Gratitude grounds you in what is, while vision pushes you into what could be. Together, they create a mindset ready for miracles. So if you want the blessing to last, renew your mind. Your miracle won't fit into a limited mindset. Expand your thinking to the level of what's coming. Patience isn't weakness, it's strength under control. Waiting with faith is one of the hardest weapons to carry, because everything in you wants to rush, to force, to make it happen. But when you learn patience, you learn how to fight without losing your peace. Impatience has destroyed more destinies than failure ever did. People give up too soon, walk away too early, or settle for less because they couldn't wait. Patience is the shield that keeps you steady until the right moment arrives. Patience is not passive. It doesn't mean doing nothing. It means working, preparing, believing, while trusting the timing. It's active faith in action, moving when it's time, waiting when it's not. The hardest thing is when you're ready, but the door isn't. That's where patience becomes your weapon. It keeps you from forcing open a door that wasn't meant for you. It protects you from opportunities that look good but aren't God. When you hold patience, you're saying, I believe the promise so deeply that I don't need to rush it. I trust the timing. That posture unlocks strength that most people never experience. Look at those who rushed ahead. They burned out. Look at those who waited. They lasted. Because patience is what keeps you sustainable when the blessing arrives. Patience arms you with peace in the middle of waiting. It turns your waiting room into a training ground, and it prepares you to step into the blessing without desperation. God's blessings are tied to instruction. You can't ask for abundance while ignoring direction. Obedience is the key that opens the floodgates. If you move when He says move, doors swing wide. If you hesitate or resist, you delay what's already meant for you. Obedience is rarely convenient. It often means stepping out when you don't feel ready, forgiving when it's hard, or giving when it doesn't make sense. But every act of obedience places you in alignment with what's promised. Think about it. Every miracle in Scripture was connected to obedience. Stretch out your hand, walk around the wall, cast your net again. The action didn't always make sense, but the obedience unlocked overflow. Your breakthrough isn't always waiting on God. It's often waiting on your obedience. He already lined up the blessing. He's waiting to see if you'll follow through with the instruction. Disobedience keeps doors locked. Obedience doesn't just open doors, it keeps them open. Because obedience builds trust. When you obey, you're proving you can be trusted with more. So don't overlook the small instructions. The little steps of obedience today unlock the massive opportunities tomorrow. Overflow doesn't come from knowing, it comes from doing. If you want the blessing, obey the whisper. The big blessing is connected to your willingness to follow through. We often wait for a big moment, a sudden shift, a miracle breakthrough, but more often than not, big leaps are built on small steps. Every little act of faith, every consistent discipline, every unseen effort, those stack up into a major move. Don't despise the small beginnings. The seed looks tiny, but it holds a forest inside. The daily effort may feel insignificant, but it's preparing you for exponential growth. Small steps are not wasted. They're multiplied. The danger is impatience. We want to jump straight to the top, but skipping steps leaves you unprepared. Each step builds the character, wisdom, and resilience needed to manage the leap when it arrives. Think of a staircase. You can't leap 5 flights and expect to land steady. You climb step by step. And before you know it, you've reached heights you never thought possible. That's how destiny works. Incremental steps leading to exponential shifts. When you feel like your progress is slow, remind yourself that slow doesn't mean stuck. Forward is forward, no matter the pace. Small obedience today creates massive opportunity tomorrow. Celebrate every step. Honor every day of progress, because each step is carrying you closer to the leap you've been praying for. Don't quit because it looks small. Every big move of God starts small. Keep stepping, and the leap will come. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces in your life. When you're thankful for what you have, you position yourself for more. Gratitude shifts your perspective, aligns your heart, and opens your hands to receive greater things. If you complain in the little, you'll miss the blessing in the big. But if you give thanks in the small, you prove you're ready for increase. Gratitude shows you can handle more because you honor what you already have. Gratitude also protects you from pride. It reminds you that every blessing is grace, not entitlement. That posture keeps you grounded so the greatness doesn't destroy you when it arrives. A grateful heart sees opportunities where others only see problems. It finds joy in progress instead of frustration in delay. Gratitude doesn't ignore reality, it reframes it through faith. When you live in gratitude, miracles feel natural. Doors open, favor flows, and people are drawn to you because you carry an energy that lifts instead of drains. Gratitude becomes a magnet for greatness. Even in hard times, gratitude keeps you steady. It says, I may not have everything I want, but I'm thankful for what I've got. That attitude positions you for the increase that's on the way. Gratitude is the key that unlocks greatness. The more thankful you are, the more prepared you are for the blessing. Expectation is the final key. You can't walk into a blessing doubting it's even possible. Expectation shifts how you live, how you move, how you speak. When you expect, you prepare like it's already yours. Expectation is faith in motion. It says, I'm not waiting to see it before I believe it. I believe it so deeply that I'm already acting like it's here. That mindset draws the blessing into your reality. If you expect failure, you'll see failure. If you expect blessing, you'll see blessing. Your expectation frames your experience. That's why you must guard your thoughts, because expectation flows out of what you focus on. Preparation is proof of expectation. If you believe God is sending abundance, you set up the jars. If you believe the door is opening, you get your bags packed. Expectation says, I'll be ready when it arrives because I know it's coming. People who expect blessings carry themselves differently. They walk with confidence, they speak with vision, they live with hope. That energy shifts the atmosphere around them and attracts opportunities. Don't just wish, expect. Don't just hope. Prepare. Expectation transforms waiting into anticipation, and it draws the blessing closer. The bigger the blessing, the greater the expectation required. If you can expect it, you can walk in it, because expectation is the evidence of your faith.